You know, there's a lot of rumors of like this person or that person, but for it to be a witness, it would have to be somebody that has direct knowledge of it, right? Like it couldn't just be, one of the dudes just happened to tell somebody weeks later, yeah, I did this. Would that be something that could be brought up in court?
For sure. Absolutely.
Wouldn't it be hard to prove though?
Well, here's the thing. People a lot of times say, oh, they don't have any evidence, but they've got people who are willing to testify. Testimony is evidence. So it'll just be whether or not what the person's saying is credible. And there might be things to back it up. Maybe there's a text message. Maybe there is, we went to El Toro's and we ate burritos, and here's a selfie with me and so on that particular day, and this is when that happened. Or phone records. There's something else to back up what the person is saying, and generally there's a digital footprint, like I said, of everybody and everything we do nowadays. I guarantee you the feds are patient as hell. Remember, it's been a year since this happened, and my guess is that they've got it buttoned up, pretty good. They have a pretty good success rate.
Yes, I've seen that. 96%, right? Great.
That's about right, yeah.
So you believe that somebody's cooperating and it's probably somebody really close to the situation?
I would suspect. I mean, I don't know for sure. This is just total speculation on my part. But I just know how these cases are put together, and they're always put together with snitches, with cooperators, with somebody that, and with somebody that they're going to lean on, and the federal government can lean pretty fucking hard on some of these people.
Okay. Right. So it's probably somebody that's looking at a lot of time, maybe.
Or they.
Right, I mean, because why else would they cooperate, right? I mean.
Right. Exactly.
Okay. When do you think they'll start bringing out more evidence?
As they're going to have a detention hearing, if they haven't had it already, and once they have their detention hearing, I would bet about 6 or 8 months from now we'll learn more information, and if there's anything that's exculpatory, we'll hear that too. We'll hear that from their defense lawyers. They'll be squawking like, but it all depends. So, I mean, I'd say in about 6 to 8 months, we'll get some more facts. Exculpatory means information that tends to lead towards innocence. So, or favorable information for the defense. To exculpate is to relieve yourself of the guilt, basically, that you're not guilty of something. So, exculpatory evidence in a murder case would be, here's a picture of me in Detroit at the exact same time that this happened, so I couldn't have done it.
And if the prosecutor doesn't turn over all exculpatory evidence, that would mean they would lose the case.
Yeah, that's prosecutorial misconduct. That would be a Brady violation. And that can be grounds for tossing the case out too.
Okay. Do we know what kind of lawyers they have? Have they gotten good lawyers yet, or are they on public defenders?
Well, wait a second. What did you just made a distinguishing remark between good lawyers and public defenders. First of all, in the feds, they're all good lawyers. The federal defender's office here is like a high class law firm. They are really good lawyers. But here's what happens. If these guys don't have money, and I don't know if they do have money or not, and I haven't really looked into who their representation is, but if they don't have a whole lot of dough, they'll be assigned a public defender, one will, and then the rest of them will all be have conflicts lawyers. So they'll have a lawyer that's probably well seasoned, and they won't have to pay for it, but it'll be a private lawyer that's on a conflicts panel. It's called a CJA panel.
Okay, so are you familiar with Crowned TV?
Yes.
So I was watching some of their videos to learn about this case a little bit. And this goes back to the snitching thing. They mentioned a confidential source is mentioned in the indictment or somewhere in it. And they were saying that type of person is more of a law-abiding citizen.
How would they know that?
Well, they said there was a difference between a confidential source, and an informant.
Right. That's true. There's a confidential, reliable source. That's somebody who's given snitching in the past, basically given reliable information. There's a confidential source. That's just somebody who's just giving information. And then there's an arrested informant. So that's kind of on the order of reliability. Somebody who's given reliable information in the past, somebody who's just a concerned citizen without any axe to grind. Maybe that's a confidential source, maybe not. And then you've got an arrested informant. That's somebody who's been arrested, who hasn't given good information in the past, but who may or may not be credible. So that's kind of the order in which they're kind of... and yeah, I can see how somebody would say that.
Now, there's been misinformation. People have accused people of cooperating, but from what I understand, they all signed what's called a protective order. Can you explain what that is?
Who signed a protective order?
Supposedly all of them.
I know exactly what that is. So when you have a case like this, especially when it's high profile, the government wants all the defense lawyers to sign a thing saying that they can't show their clients certain information. Which I think is bullshit, to be quite frank with you. I should be able to show my client whatever. But they don't want, you can show it to them, but you can't let them have their discovery. So that's really what it is. It's so that you can show them the information, but you can't let them have their physical discovery. And there's certain things you cannot share with your client. And usually that has to do with snitch testimony. So if the lawyer knows who the snitch is, he's not supposed to tell the client who that person is. Which I think runs afoul of a fair defense.
Wow, man, that is...
That's the feds.
That's crazy. Now, why would they sign this?
Because in order to get the discovery, they can't get it without it.
What would happen if they just said, you know what, we're not signing this? Then they wouldn't get any information.
Then they'd wind up before a federal judge, and the federal judge would say, you either sign it or I'm taking you off the case.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
It's done all the time, and it goes so against my grain, it's ridiculous. I've done that many times.
There's been a lot of talk about them potentially getting the death penalty.
Yep.
What do you think about that?
Well, I am 100% against the death penalty to begin with. Regardless, I don't think government-sponsored killing helps anybody. But it is a definite, it's actually a, what do you call it, a settlement tool, really. Because it's like, all right, if he pleads, we'll take death off the table. But they could be looking at the death penalty.
I was watching Crown TV, and they said that they normally don't pursue the death penalty in cases like this in Illinois.
Well, go ahead.
But it's up to the Attorney General. Is that correct?
Yeah, they have to go to DOJ, like in Washington, D.C., to get permission to do that.
And how soon will we know if they're going for the death penalty or not?
As the case progresses, probably in the next few months.
Okay, so this will come out soon then.
Yeah, I would think so, yeah.
Okay.